We're now live.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. This is the regular council meeting of the Township of South Algonquin on Wednesday, October 6th, 2021, commencing at 9 a.m. Thank you very much. I would do the roll call of members of council. Councillor Collins.
I'm present.
Councillor Florent.
Here.
Councillor Harper.
Here.
Councillor Bongo.
Here.
Councillor Shala.
Present.
Councillor Rodnick.
Here.
Thank you, everyone. All members of council are present. Are there any additions or amendments to the agenda? I have one agenda amendment. We have a resolution in regards to the fire truck that was omitted, so it will now become part of the package, and I will read that resolution when we get to resolutions. All right. So with that, I would call for the adoption of the agenda, and I have this moved by Councillor Rodnick and seconded by Councillor Collins. Be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin adopts the agenda as circulated and amended for the regular council meeting of October 6, 2021. I would call the vote on that. Councillor Collins.
For.
Councillor Florent.
For.
Councillor Harper.
For.
Councillor Bongo.
For.
Councillor Shala.
For.
And Councillor Rodnick.
For.
Resolution is carried. Agenda item number 4, with the business before us this morning, does any member of council wish to declare a pecuniary interest? Hearing none. Agenda item number 5, the public meeting for zoning bylaw amendment ZBA 2021-04. And I would hand the meeting over at this time to Tracy Cannon, our planning and building administrator. Go ahead, Tracy.
Thank you, Mayor Duma. Welcome, everybody. This is a zoning bylaw amendment 2021 for locally known as 101 Gallery Lake Road. This is the public meeting. An application for a zoning bylaw amendment was received from Michael McCrae on behalf of Bob and Rachel McCrae. This would be for the development of a dwelling unit and maintain the existing cottage as a secondary dwelling unit. The property is zoned as settlement area shoreline residential R2, and it does not permit a secondary dwelling unit as a use. So therefore, zoning bylaw amendment had to be applied for. On the line is Forbes Simon. He's the senior planner for JP2G, and he's here to speak on behalf of the report that was included in the package. I want to welcome Michael and McCrae and Rachel and Robert McCrae as well. They're also online. So Forbes, I'm going to pass it over to you if you could speak to your report.
Thank you very much, Tracy, and Council, Mayor, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this morning. This is a type of application that we're starting to see more and more of throughout rural communities. And I think that it's a very interesting proposal, but unfortunately it's one that as a planner, I can't support. And I'll go through my report that's filed with you and highlight the elements of it that result in my recommendation to you this morning. The property in question is within the hamlet of Whitney, but the official plan policies defer to the waterfront policies when considering development that's in a hamlet but on a waterfront. The property in question is a little over a half acre in size. It's 0.27 hectares, which is 0.68 acres in size. It has about 60 meters of frontage on Gallery Lake Road and is serviced by private well and septic system. The existing house on the property is 11 meters from the water's edge. The proposal is to construct a new dwelling 17 meters from the water's edge. The surrounding development is very consistent with what you would think in a hamlet setting. It's primarily single detached residential on private services. The waterfront policies that are of most concern with this application relate to policies regarding at-capacity lakes. And the subject lake has been identified as an at-capacity lake trout lake. And the policies in the official plan are very clear in terms of what's expected for development in such cases. It says that in the case of lake trout lakes at their biological capacity, lot creation and land use changes that would result in more intensive uses will not be permitted. I submit to you today that the addition of a secondary dwelling unit on the property, or the conversion of the existing cottage into a secondary dwelling unit and the construction of a new dwelling on the property represents an intensification of use. The zoning bylaw for the township does recognize the lands as being R2, though those regulations, as Tracy indicated, do not permit a secondary dwelling unit. There are zones within the bylaw that do permit them, but the R2 does not. The bylaw also specifically states that there is a need for buildings to meet at least a 20-meter setback from the water's edge for development. And as was indicated, the existing development and the proposed development, the existing development's entirely within the 20 meters and the proposed development will be partially within it. Section 422 of your bylaw contains the specific regulations related to secondary dwelling units. For those that are going to be in accessory buildings, they must be located in the rear yard of the lot, which would be between, would be the roadside of this property. They can only be permitted in a unit, an accessory unit that complies with all the minimum yard requirements. And this one does not meet the waterfront setback. And it also states that the lot area should at least be 1.2 hectares in size. The proposed development clearly does not meet these performance criteria. So the results of the planning analysis is mixed. In one respect, there's many policies, provincial, federal, regional, that promote secondary dwelling units. The other thing is it's in a hamlet, and that's a desired area for directing future development. However, the property is undersized and it is on an at-capacity lake with development within the 20-meter setback. And for those reasons, I'm recommending that this application not be permitted. I also would suggest to council that there is a need to think very seriously about development proposals for secondary dwelling units on waterfront properties. There is an emerging body of work that is suggesting this is not an appropriate form of development for our waterfront areas. It's meant mainly to be used in urban contexts to provide modest forms of affordable housing. And what some jurisdictions are finding is that the secondary dwelling units on waterfront become rental properties and have concerns in terms of increased activity in and around the water body. It also should be noted there was no environmental impact assessment submitted with the application. And should council wish to look upon this development favorably, I would recommend that as a minimum, the application be deferred to allow the applicant to prepare an environmental impact study related to the fishery and the at-capacity lake. But my recommendation to council today is not to support the application. I'm available for any questions should you wish. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you. Do any members of council have any questions?
I have some comments.
Go ahead, Councillor Florent.
I note that we changed planners as this process was going on for this application. And the reason referred to me was that the cost kept going up on the other one. But I'm a firm believer in you get what you pay for. And there's a lot of references in this planning report that don't make any sense and don't belong in the planning report. And I'm referring to all the references, and there's 5 or 6 of them that were referring to the lot size. And the lot size only has to do with severances, not for zoning amendments. There's also references to the 20 meters from water. I would hazard a guess that probably 95% of the waterfront property in our township, the cottages or homes are well within the 20 meter mark. Some of them considerably less than that. And also refers to an undersized lot. This lot is really a normal sized lot, and it's probably as big or bigger than at least half of the lots within the settlement areas, at least, maybe not out in the rural, but within the settlement areas, it's a very standard sized lot, maybe even bigger than most. I think all the references in the planning report that refer to lot size, they just don't belong there. So they have to be excluded from any thought. There may be other reasons that this development should not go forward, but lot size is certainly not one of them.
Is that it, Councillor Florent?
Yes.
Mr. Conway, would you like to respond to Councillor Florent's comments? Conan?
Would you like me to respond to that, Mayor?
I'm sorry, Mr. Simon, I can't read my own writing that I wrote down on this report.
That's all right. And I respect Councillor Florent's position very much. The only thing that I would say is that I think that the minimum lot size is very relevant to the issue today, specifically because section 4.2.2 of your zoning bylaw states quite clearly that secondary dwelling units are only permitted in accessory buildings where the following criteria are satisfied. Rear lot must comply with all minimum setbacks and a lot area of at least 1.2 hectares. And so because the performance criteria for a secondary dwelling unit specifically speaks to lot area, I felt that it was important that we review that issue and that the property is deficient and a substandard lot with respect to that performance criteria. Again, I think that the development, when it speaks to must meet all the setbacks, the 20 meter setback is a relevant setback. It's highlighted in your bylaw. It doesn't meet that setback, and again, doesn't meet the performance criteria for the secondary dwelling units.
Thank you very much, Mr. Simon. Any member or other member of council have a comment?
Mayor,
I think Councillor Shala was first and then Councillor Bongo. Go ahead, Councillor Shala.
Thank you. I guess I'm looking at this, and it certainly is somebody's dream, and or a plan, and to go ahead and improve the lot and build maybe a structure that they really want. However, if, for example, and it's recommended here that if we declined and then encourage the resident to go through the cost of an environmental study, and maybe it's just delaying the process, and it's going to certainly add additional costs to it and time prior to development. I guess my thoughts are that if the cottage was removed, then the individual, the owner, would have the opportunity to see their dream come through and build that structure on that property. So I guess that's my question, and or my thoughts, that they're not really I don't think they'd be prevented from having a structure on the building, providing it met all the criteria of the bylaw as far as setbacks, etc. If the cottage was removed and then they move forward, that's what I'm thinking. But I don't know. Maybe possibly Mr. Simon would be able to tell us if that's.
Mayor, thank you very much. Through you, Mayor. Councillor, I think the redevelopment of the property with a new cottage on it and the removal of the existing cottage is certainly an option that's available. And I think would not result in it being classed as an intensification of development along the waterfront of an at capacity lake.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Bongo, go ahead.
Yes, I just had a question for the planner, and that was what are the possible alternatives for this resident if it's not? I mean, we've already kind of discussed the removal of the current cottage to create this bigger unit, as was just discussed a few seconds ago. But are there any other alternatives that this resident has, whether they can put an outbuilding in the spot where they want to put this other secondary dwelling? I'm not sure if you have any comments to that.
Go ahead, Mr. Simon.
Thank you, Councillor Bongo. Through you, Mayor. It's hard to speculate about the options that you can present to someone. I think that the property being on an at capacity lake presents some real limitations to the extent to which the property could be redeveloped and reimagined. Certainly the option that was discussed before about removing the existing cottage and building a more modern building is certainly an option. I'm not sure if there's too many more other than that. I think we have to deal with the facts that are before us. And so there are limitations, I think, Councillor, and I can't at this point imagine what other options would be available that wouldn't get classed as an intensification of development.
Thank you, Mr. Simon. Any other members of council have a question?
Yes, Mayor. It's Bill Rodnicall.
Oh, go ahead, Bill, and then Councillor Harper.
Yeah, the one thing that Mr. Simon's brought up is you know, we're going to run into certain situations with these at capacity lakes, because most of our lakes are at capacity, and unfortunately, it's like anything else. Once you kind of open that door, or even attempt to open that door, we could find ourselves in a very difficult situation in the future, especially, of course, as we are all aware of the Algonquin land claim, which is going to maybe intensify the number of lots on various lakes.
Yeah, thank you for that comment, Bill. Mr. Simon, did you want to respond in that in any way or take it as a comment?
I agree that we have to be concerned about development on these lakes, and that the secondary dwelling units is something that a number of jurisdictions that are similar to South Algonquin are running into real problems with. And I think that my advice in general is to proceed cautiously with secondary dwelling units that are on waterfront properties.
Thank you. Go ahead, Councillor Harper.
Yes, by the diagrams that we received, I see that the new dwelling is what, 3 times the size of the existing one. My problem is the existing dwelling is serviced by a drilled well and a septic system. The proposed dwelling, I don't see any new system for water nor sewage indicated on the diagram. Where is it going to go? That's my question. There's not enough room on that lot to incorporate a new sewage system and a drill well. I can't see that.
Okay. Did you want to comment on that, Mr. Simon, or is that sort of out of
Yeah,
your scope?
I don't have any information on that. The assumption that I was going on is that the both dwellings would connect into the existing well, and that there may be a need for an upgrade to the septic system, but I wasn't provided any information regarding that detail. I apologize.
Okay.
No, that's fine. Thank you. Any other further comments from council or staff? Hearing none, I would open it up to Rachel and Bob and Mike Cameron if there are any questions or comments on what the discussion so far has brought to your attention.
Yeah, I have just a couple of questions and comments that I can go through as well, if that's okay.
Oh, sorry.
The first.
Sorry, Mike, I thought it was Cam. It's Michael. Okay, thank you.
That's okay. No worries. My first question is just actually about the category of the lake trout lake. It's a question for Mr. Simon. I was just wondering why you used section 11.23, which deals with land division and has to do with the creation of new lots and changings of use, as opposed to section 10.93, which would I would guess would be a bit more applicable.
I respect that position. The reason that 11.2.3 was used is because it makes specific reference to land use changes that would result in more intensive uses and that will not be permitted. It deals with lot creation and intensification of use, and so that it was germane and relevant to the development proposal.
Oh, okay, sounds good. Yeah, I would just a comment on that is I don't think the land use is changing very much. It's essentially still just going to be residential dwelling, and it's definitely not a lot creation. So not a huge change in that. So anyway, but thank you for getting that. I was curious as to why that section was quoted dealing with the lake trout and the biological capacity. The second sort of comment is, and this is going back to Councillor Bongo's point, is definitely some amendments can be made. For example, I agree that the 20 meters setback is an issue, and that's something that I think could just be adjusted by changing the plans. In order to actually, there's enough space there to probably make that 20-meter setback from the waterfront. Then the only sort of other main comment that we had too is regarding, and once again, depending on how we assess Gallery Lake and where this sits. So this lot sits, obviously it's fairly far down on sort of the river. So whether or not this is essentially sitting on Madawaska River versus Gallery Lake, and that'll have an impact on obviously its effect on the fisheries, given the fact that at that point there's a constant flow down the river, and there's no flow sort of back up into the lake. So just as in terms of sort of how we define exactly where Madawaska River starts and where Gallery Lake ends. And then I think the only other sort of main sort of question I had about that was the once again the significantly sort of increase and intensive use. I mean, I appreciate the comments, especially in regards to if it was creating a rental units and adding more business to the lake or whichever. And in this case, I mean, really, I'm just looking at it from a personal use, not for rental, not for anything else. And so there will not be any greater intensive use from the creation of this at all. The current cottage that's there is pretty much uninhabited most of the year, and this is just kind of creating a bigger cottage to use and keeping the secondary one there as a secondary dwelling, really.
Okay. Anything else, Michael?
I think that's about all. Oh, and then The only other sort of point that I saw within the document that I was curious about was in terms of actually getting the environmental impact assessment. As per the regulations, it actually an environmental impact assessment actually isn't required. Instead, actually, it requires essentially an impact, well, not environmental impact assessment, but rather a report to the satisfaction of council from a biologist who can speak to the fish habitats.
And did you want to respond to that, Mr. Simon?
Yes, environmental impact study is what's set out in the official plan. And it's clear that development that's within 120 meters of fishery habitat requires to have the support of an EIS. It's clear interpretation of the policy from my standpoint. The scope of that, I think, is something that would be discussed with either the Ministry of Natural Resources or the Ministry of the Environment.
Okay. All right. Any other comments or feedback, Michael?
That's it for me right now. Thank you.
I have a question, Mayor Dumas.
Go ahead, Councillor Collins.
Is there any way that the original cottage that's on there, Michael, could that be disconnected from the water supply and the septic and be referred to as a bunkie?
We actually hadn't even considered that as an option, so I'm not sure actually. Yeah.
It
And
wouldn't
perhaps-
meet it wouldn't meet the requirement for the zoning bylaw for a bunkie though.
No.
Oh, right. That was my next question. Does it meet the designation? Because I note that it's really quite small, but I'm not sure the sizing for a bunkie.
Okay.
That was a
All right.
question.
Are there any other comments?
I'm sorry, Mayor Dumas, it's Richard. I was kicked out of the system and just got back on. So anyway, I won't ask anybody to go through anything else, but I did not hear maybe the last minute of the conversation.
Okay. All right, Richard. Okay. Any other feedback? Anything from you, Tracy?
I just wanted to let everybody know that the notices were mailed out to the property owners within 120 meters of the subject property, and the signs were posted. I didn't get any public feedback from agencies or the public.
Okay, thank you for that. Very much appreciated.
I have a question for
Mayor
Tracy.
Dumas, I have a comment.
Okay, go ahead, Rachel.
Okay, thank you. Just to answer the questions that were raised but not completely answered, we do hope to connect, we do plan to connect the well and the septic system to the new building. So there will be no increase. We don't have to, we're not severing it. We're just going to add the primary. We're now thinking that this structure that MAC wants to build is a primary structure, and the cottage, which is quite small, will be the secondary structure. So we feel that we will get an assessment of the septic system. See, it was approved in 1980, so we do have the approval for that. And but we do feel that with two structures using the same septic system, we're perfectly willing to improve that. So the well, we're not worried about. It's going to be a shared well. And we've talked to a plumber and he says that that can be done. And the well gets 20 gallons a minute, which is better than most people in Whitney. So we're not worried about the water. Furthermore, the waterfront itself, Michael will not be building any more docks or anything like that. The docks that we presently have that are on the plan will be shared, because this is a family. This is a family that's going to use this. So the dock, the beach, all those things will just be shared. So there will be no further impact on the Madawaska River by the building of this plan.
Oh, I thought I saw somewhere in the plan that there was a larger dock that was going to be put along the shoreline.
No, what we have now is what's there.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. All right. Was there someone else had a comment? Are you finished, Rachel?
Yes, unless anyone has any questions.
Hearing none. All right. Councillor Florent, you had a comment?
I just took note of Tracy's comment that notification had gone out to property owners within 120 meters. And I think that probably puts one of our councillors in conflict of interest. It wasn't declared.
Thank you for mentioning that, Councillor Florent. Yes, I'm not sure what the correct procedure is, but yes, I did receive one of those notices, and I do live 2 or 3 doors down from this property. I'm not sure if my participation in this meeting, if I should exclude myself. I apologize if I did something wrong here.
I would ask Brian, our CAO, to clarify that, if you would, please, Brian.
Yes, Mayor Dumas, the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act is very specific as it relates to pecuniary interest. So I'm not certain. It's certainly not up to me to make that decision, but I'm not certain that there would be a pecuniary interest in specific as it relates to this redevelopment of the property up the river from Councillor Bongo. That said, as I say, it's that decision to make the decision to call a conflict is Councillor Bongo's, and certainly not that of staff.
That's correct. It is up to the councillor to determine and declare the conflict of interest. So I would leave that to you, Councillor Bongo, when we get to the resolution in regards to this.
Sure.
Mayor Dumas, I just thought of one more thing that I wanted to say. And that is the planner, as we read the plan, said that we are mostly surrounded by primary dwellings. But that's not really true, because on both ends of Galerie Drive, which is actually quite short, there is our 2 lodges. One is Bongo Picks and the other is the couples resort. So it's not even in this hamlet. There is a mix between primary and commercial. So I wondered if that would negate the comments that he made about we're just completely surrounded by primary dwellings.
Mr. Simon, did you wish to respond to that?
My understanding is that the dwellings in the immediate vicinity surrounding the property, or the properties surrounding this subject land, are for the most part residential.
Right.
And it's in a hamlet setting. So I apologize if I didn't characterize the neighborhood as completely as I should, but my sense was it was primary residential in this immediate vicinity.
Yes, and that is correct.
It meets that criteria in the Planning Act then of immediate vicinity. Okay, thank you. Any other comments? All right, hearing none, thank you. This will come forward as in the resolution section of the of this meeting. So we will defer it until we get to the resolution process. Thank you very much. Oh, go ahead, Tracy.
Sorry, I just wanted to thank Robert and Rachel and Michael for attending the meeting. You're welcome to stay on within mute, that's fine. Or you can view it on YouTube as well when we go to pass the resolutions that will be included then at that time.
Okay, thank you, Tracy. All right, so we are now down to, let me see now. The number 7, petitions delegation. I'm sorry, thank you, number 6.
Sorry, Mayor Duma, can I also step in here for a second? I just want to thank Mr. Simon as well for attending the meeting today. That was appreciative. And I know you have to sign off. So we thank you for that, for joining us this morning. Sorry, Mayor Duma, I just wanted to make sure I recognized Mr. Simon.
Thank you on behalf of council as well, Mr. Simon. Thank you so much for your presence and for your assistance this morning.
Thank
Much
you, Mr. Simon.
appreciated, Mayor.
All right, thank you. All right, so we're at agenda item number 7 of the agenda, and that's the minutes of the previous meetings. So I have a resolution for item number 1, moved by Councillor Florent and seconded by Councillor Shala. Be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin adopts the minutes of the regular council meeting of September 1st, 2021 as circulated. I would call the vote on that resolution. Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
Or
Councillor Harper,
For.
Councillor Bongo,
Or
Councillor Shala,
Or
Councillor Rodnick. Are you there, Bill? Must be on mute.
Yeah, I was on mute. I wasn't at that meeting.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. The second item is the adoption of the minutes of the emergency services meeting, and I have a resolution moved by Councillor Harper and seconded by Councillor Bongo. Be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin adopts the minutes of the emergency services meeting of September 15, 2021 as circulated. Calling the vote, Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
or
Councillor Harper,
For.
Councillor Bongo,
or
Councillor Shala,
or
Councillor Rodnick.
Or,
All right. And the third item here is the adoption of the minutes. I have the resolution moved by Councillor Shala and seconded by Councillor Florent. Be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin adopts the minutes of the asset management meeting of September 15, 2021 as circulated. Calling the vote, Councillor Collins, Councillor Florent,
or
Councillor Harper,
For.
Councillor Bongo,
for
Councillor Shala,
or
Councillor Rodnick,
or,
and that is carried. We are now at agenda item number 8, committee staff and council reports. And just let me see here. So under committee, the first item are the minutes of the Murchison Lyle Parks and Recreation Committee. And we have minutes from July 13th and August 10th. Did you want to speak to any of this, Councillor Florent?
I don't think so. The minutes are pretty well straightforward and address everything that was addressed at either of those meetings.
Okay, thank you.
There's not much
All
new
right.
going on.
No. All right. And the planning report for zoning bylaw 2021-04, we have just looked at that through the process with Mr. Simon. Was there anything else you would wanted to add at this point, Tracy? No.
No, I don't have
Okay.
anything to add. Thanks, Jane.
Okay, very good. And the remainder of this section are the CAO reports. So Brian, I would hand that over to you in regards to the reports that are contained in this section. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Dumas. Yes, so there's a number of reports. The first one is respecting financial and asset management software. Of course, we were through a process with KPMG that relates to a number of requirements for effectiveness and efficiency of the municipality. Staff spent a couple of months reviewing various options that might be available, including expanding our own existing software that we're currently using. In all cases, we found significant deficiencies with duplication of effort. The only one that we found really met all of the current and future requirements of the municipality. We believe, and staff, I speak collectively, all of the administrative staff, including the Public Works Superintendent, have all been through this. And we came to a recommendation that council give consideration to Town Suite as our current and future software for the purposes of asset management and financial purposes.
Did members of council have any questions to CAO Martin in regards to this? I would say I found it very comprehensive and certainly looks like it would move us into the current IT world as far as a municipality goes, and offers many options, not only to staff, but to the public as well, to manage interactions with the township, be it bill payment or taxes, etc. So I thought it was a very comprehensive report. And any other comments from councillors?
Mayor?
Go ahead, Councillor Bongo.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that this software looks really amazing. And secondly, when I attended the AMO convention in August, I attended an entire webinar about the importance of digitizing your building permit system. And I see that this software does include a digital building permit system. So this is hitting on all of the best advice that I'm receiving from my municipal mentors. So yeah, great job, staff, for identifying this piece of software.
Are there any other comments? Brian, just going forward, there are two options, and when we get to the resolution, we will have to identify one. Was there one over the other that staff or yourself would recommend?
Well, obviously, if council goes with the second scenario, that provides us with the least direct cost to the tax base. And there's no questions. Certainly the first scenario requires us to apply to the government for current round 3 of the municipal infrastructure funding, efficiency of funding that's currently available, and would be subject to approval for certain applications that we've identified that we would be looking to get under that. So scenario 2 moves us forward right away with all of the required software applications, and still leaves us with some remaining funding within the COVID stream for any other items that may be required as we move forward with existing COVID funding.
So thank you. So I'm just putting it out to members of council if there was any further dialogue in regards to scenario 1. When I read through this, scenario 2 was the one that I thought would be the most beneficial and the most efficient way to finance this option. So any comments?
Mayor,
What about ongoing support?
Okay, sorry, go ahead, Councillor Rodnick, and then Councillor Shala.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, is there any who's going to, like, is there any additional cost for doing like the IT support with this software?
There is a continual support requirement on an annual basis, and number skips my mind, but I think it's around 20,000 annually to maintain, and that's all of our support, whether that's calling them, whether that's upgrades to the software or otherwise. Everything is inclusive in the package moving forward.
Okay. Thank you.
And Councillor Shala, go ahead.
yes, maybe possibly I should answer this question earlier there, but regarding this, and I guess without getting into the weeds too much, I thought I read into it about the building inspections. The property owner could notify by email or whatever by the program to have an inspection done. And I'm just thinking of the size of our township, and will it be set up in a manner that there's adequate time for the building inspector to receive that information so that he doesn't arrive basically he's working 2 days a week now, and he doesn't arrive on one morning and get requests across the whole from Malin Lake across to Hay Lake or Mackenzie, which would be, I think, impossible in a sense for him to manage. So I'm just thinking of I'm pretty sure I read that in there, but I may have been incorrect.
Can I
No,
speak to that?
Yes, go ahead. Good question, Richard. Thank you. And go ahead, Tracy.
So I generally schedule all the building inspectors' inspections anyway, and I'm in every day. So I would be monitoring that.
Okay, thank you.
And certainly the software does give the resident the opportunity to request a specific time for an appointment. But certainly that would be managed at the staff level. If we're able to accommodate the request, certainly I'm sure we will endeavor to do so. But where we're trying to keep our inspections, as you say, Councillor Shala, from having the inspector run from one extreme to the opposite extreme of the township with nothing in between for inspections. Certainly that's something that at a staff level, as we get the requests, we will manage moving forward. But certainly it does allow for the applicant to submit all of the requirements for their building code, including all of their site plans and their architectural drawings, and otherwise electronically for review, which should also help make it a little easier than people having to make that trip into the office specifically to drop off those documents.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Any further questions on this item? All right,
I have
then,
a question.
Brian. Oh, go ahead, Councillor Bongo.
Sure. I really like the point of sale feature behind this software. And my question with regards to that is, could we potentially give the disposal site attendant some sort of electronic point of sale device? Likewise, I have a memory of renting the Lester B. Smith building in the past, and I had to pay in cash to do that. Will this point of sale integration in the software allow us to harmonize the payment system for if it's facility rentals or disposal site fee?
Certainly it has that option. Certainly the waste site's a little separate item. We did actually just implement in the last couple of weeks a point of sale at the municipal office. So you can now use your debit at the office for paying your taxes and otherwise, a service that we had not had previously. We have talked about potentially moving this out into the waste sites to allow them to carry a point of sale that would use a SIM card and would then simply allow us to run a report to see how much money was deposited and simply have the waste attendants drop off the required information to support those transactions. So it is something that's in thoughts. Certainly, we've got some other things we're going to discuss as it relates to waste management in not so distant future. So we will likely schedule a waste meeting to have conversations that would be directly related to how we would affect anything at the landfill sites.
Okay, that's awesome. And one last question, if that's okay. I know that recently we adopted the electronic burn permit system. Is there a burn permit system incorporated in this software that would make the burnpermits.com redundant, or will both of those electronic systems exist at the same time?
They will continue to exist as they currently would. There's not currently an opportunity for integration. That's not to say that this company is not looking to find partners such as that. They are continuously improving and developing their software. So if there's a demand for such as that, they may find that that's something they might move into in the future.
Okay, super.
Anyone else?
I would have a comment.
Go ahead, Councillor Warren.
Councillor Bongo brought up the burn permit system, and we all know that it doesn't work on any of the lanes in our township. Will this new software for building inspections and that work in those locations?
Absolutely, Councillor Florent. What happens is each member of our community, each property in our community, this is tied into our actual property fabric within our own GIS system and MPAC, which allows us to ensure that every property owner that has a roll number will have access to it electronically from their home to make application for those things. And so in the case of, say, a severance, they could make an application for severance based on an existing roll number. And we can then separate the property appropriately within the municipal office confines.
That's good to hear.
Thank you. And Brian, just to confirm, I've read there's many excellent reports in this package, but this is a Canadian-based company as well, correct?
That is correct. They're based out of St. John's, Newfoundland.
That's excellent, excellent selection process. Thank you. All right, so then if there are no further questions on this item, we would go to Brian's second report.
So the second report specifically talks to capital financing and debt management. One of the things that came up, of course, recently, we've created some reserve policies as it relates to managing our reserves that we currently have and setting aside money for things that we feel are important long-term, and has clearly defined what needs to be there and why. One of the things we didn't discuss was capital financing or debt. So there was talk about acquiring a fire truck at our last committee meeting, and there's a resolution being brought forward, and that's just one example. But we have no clear policies on how we were going to manage that, whether that would be borrowing the money or whether we'd be borrowing the money from our own reserves. So basically what this report does is give us some guidelines and some staff some direction on how they will manage those things as we move forward with our asset management considerations. Of course, all of these things will be approved by council, but it gives staff a little more clear direction from a policy perspective on how we should manage debt or manage capital financing requirements.
All right, thank you, Brian. Any questions or comments from council?
Mayor, I just have a quick comment.
Go ahead, Councillor Bongo.
Yeah, every month I attend a Bloom webinar about municipal education, and it was just a couple months ago that we discussed financing, and the instructors specifically spoke about the importance of having debt management policies so that municipalities can make major capital investments. So this is coming right out of the municipal education that I've been taking. And so I think it's very good forward thinking and very good policy making. Thank you.
Thank you for that feedback, Councillor Bongo. And the Bloom webinars are excellent. So good to hear that. All right, any other questions? So this will come up as a bylaw. So your next report, Brian?
The next report really is to try and start to establish how we're going to reinvest into our reserves. Certainly, we brought forward a reserve policy that clearly said these are the reserves we're going to have, and here's the limits we're going to look to have in them. What we never did speak to was how do we fund those reserves. So this really is a rendition for staff to give us some direction. And although the intent would be to eventually get ourselves to the point where we've got 100% of our long-term requirements for asset management. We've got a plan for all of those. At the moment, we haven't got a comprehensive asset management plan that allows for us to be, with absolute certainty, have the knowledge that's required to ensure that we're putting away enough in future capital requirements to ensure that we can have that, what I call a smoothing of the taxes. If we've got large capital projects one year and very few the next year, we want to see a bit of a smoothing so that the taxes aren't going ridiculously high one year to cover projects. And then the next year, we don't necessarily have that. So we want to try and find that stable platform at some point. So what this reserve policy really is just to give us a starting point that would move us towards having at least some money going back to reserve that's being dedicated to reserve. I don't believe when we bring forward the budget next month that there's going to be what I call wiggle room. I'm very firm that I want to try and maintain within 1.5% of our operating expenses over the years requirement, that we're not, putting money into the budget that we don't actually need because, somebody might be afraid that we're going to have a bad winter. So I believe in putting that money towards a reserve. And then if we do have that bad winter, we've got a place to go and get it. And that helps to manage the reserve. So really, this is just giving staff a starting point as it might relate to putting something away into the reserves on an annual basis. And it gives us some guidance as to what we should be bringing forward as part of my budget deliberations that we're currently working on as staff.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments back to Brian? Okay, thank you. Hearing none, then we will go into your report. I believe it's on 105 Maple Drive.
Yes, correct. So 105 Maple Drive, there was, as everyone's familiar with, there's a bit of a history there. We've gone out, and I think it's important that we don't become involved and potentially find ourselves liable if for some reason changes in how the ground's been done end up resulting in issues for the homeowner. So I'm more of the opinion, let's just let the homeowner do what needs to be done, get it over with, and be done with it. So I asked them to go bring me a price. They brought me a price. Obviously, we've gone and got a couple of prices of our own just so that we had something for council to compare. And obviously, this wasn't a budgetary item. So we wanted to bring it back to council so that we can expedite this and get a hold of the homeowner and say, okay, here's what we're going to do as a municipality, and allow them to get this project underway one way or another.
Thank you very much. Questions or comments from council? All right. Hearing none, this too will come forward as a resolution. Thank you. And your next one is the pandemic plan.
Yes, so just to highlight this one's really just a clarification. I think we passed, council passed a pandemic plan. In that pandemic plan, it basically allowed any of the staff to social distance and not wear masks. So I think when we created the vaccination policy, there was a conflict between the two policies. So when we identified that policy conflict, I thought it was important to bring that inconsistency back to the council table, just so that we could clarify that policy and that there would be no confusion for any of the staff involved.
Okay, any questions in regards to this? All right, thank you very much. And the next one is your administrative report.
Again, this one, I just wanted to highlight, we've gone out now with a request for proposals. There's basically 3 insurance companies that do business with municipalities, Aon Reed, Stenhouse, Frank Cowan, and MIS. There's a number of agents for those underwriters, but there are basically only 3 insurers who actually directly insure municipalities. So we've gone out directly to all 3 of them. In one case, it's our existing insurer who is a broker on behalf of one of the agents. In one case, the agent has appointed a broker, and we've sent the package directly to that broker. And in the third case, they received it directly at their head office. Those are out until the 12th of November, if memory serves me correctly, at which time those RFPs will close, staff will review them, and we'll bring back to council a recommendation at our December meeting as it relates to any changes that may be relevant in the insurance. The banking we sent out to the major banking institutions in the area. And I asked them to identify, with the lack of services we have in our community, how they would manage any deposits that we might need to make with them. And that also closes on the 12th of November. So we'll have that back for council consideration again on the December 1st meeting, first meeting in December. And hopefully we'll find that we find some creative people out there and that some of our prices are reasonable. Certainly, I think there's a need from our insurance perspective. There's not been an audit of our facilities and our insured assets. And I think it's extremely important to ensure that we've been appropriately insured and that we're not underinsured. So as part of the request for proposals in the first year, there's a requirement for the insurance company to undertake an asset valuation process on our behalf. Once that's completed, again, that'll be brought back to council for council's information.
Thank you, Brian. Any comments back to Brian? Questions?
Mayor, I just have a quick comment.
Go ahead, Councillor Bongo.
Yeah, at the AMO convention in August, I attended a webinar specifically about this subject of insurance. So Brian, I do thank you for your forward thinking and proactive actions with regards to insurance. And a lot of municipalities are hurting when it comes to increasing prices. And one of the biggest suggestions that was made at the webinar was that townships take a more active role in risk assessment. And Brian, that's exactly what you mentioned just a few seconds ago, was that we just need to do our own little audit of all of our liability exposures, just so that we can confirm with the policy writers that we're not overinsured or underinsured as well. So this is all good stuff. Thanks.
Thank you for that feedback, Councillor Bongo. Anyone else? All right, thank you very much. So agenda item number 8, are there any councillor reports? All right, hearing none. Agenda item number 9, business arising from the minutes. Any business arising from the regular council meeting of September 1? All right, minutes from emergency services meeting September 15. Business, or any business arising from the asset management committee meeting on September 15.
We do have a resolution from the that's been brought forward from the September 15th emergency management meeting.
Right. Yes, that was the addendum to the agenda this morning.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right. All right. Any unfinished business? Agenda item number 10.
I guess I have a question. I'm just wondering, the last information we received regarding the dry hydrants was we were still waiting for some approvals. And I guess if it's going to be tied up or delayed because of we don't get the approvals, I just want to ensure that the funds are transferred at the end of the season for next season.
Absolutely, Councillor Shalla. Any unfinished projects as part of our budget considerations will be identified so that the funds are transferred from the 2021 fiscal year into the 2022 fiscal year. And those funds will be clearly identified for council as we deliberate our budget, so that you're aware that those projects are being brought forward as unfinished projects for which the budget was allocated in the 2021 fiscal year.
Also, I guess in addition to that, I was just wondering, and was hoping to possibly Dave could comment if there has been approvals or if he's online.
I'm not sure if Dave made it. They had a collapse of a culvert and he was out at it. So I'm not sure if he was able to make it. See if I can see him here. I don't think he is.
Okay, well then he has no control, I guess, if he can't get the approval, but I was just wondering if it was moving forward for this year.
Yeah, I don't know if Chief Kruger has any updated information. I know he is online.
Yes, so I did speak with Dave about this last week. All the approvals have been granted. They were waiting on some drawings. Apparently the drawings have been started. I'm not sure if they've been completed. And when last we spoke, Dave did say that he's hopeful to get the projects done by the end of this year.
Thank you, and good news.
All right. All right, thank you. Where are we? Anything else there? No, okay. So where are we? Unfinished correspondence. Action items, the two, we've already looked at the two quotes were received in regard to the 105 Maple Drive. So I don't know, we've discussed that. Is there any comment from council in regards to this action item content?
I just have one
Okay.
comment. I believe that the quote from Ashgard was dependent on them being in the area doing other work. So it's kind of apples and oranges comparison with these two prices.
And I don't disagree, Councillor Florent. I think that the pricing that Dave received was specific to being in the area, and I don't know whether or not, I can't speak to that directly, whether or not those individual companies have work that they're undertaking at the current time in the immediate vicinity or not. So I would anticipate that likely the higher price is specific to the mobilization of the required equipment to get the work undertaken now.
Okay. Any further comments?
I just, when I look at this and I think the way our season could go, weather conditions, everybody trying to tie up their loose ends in various projects, road projects in particular, it may even be quite difficult, even though disappointing maybe for the landowner, it may be difficult to get the job done this late in the season. And considering the increase in prices of oil, etc., that may be related also. So I just see it as it's almost too late, but maybe not.
Okay, thank you, Richard. Good points. Any other comments? Okay. So let me see, we're at number 12 in the agenda, the correspondence information items. The first item was the report, the Integrity Commissioner's annual report in regards to the township. Were there any comments or feedback? I found it quite comprehensive.
Mayor Dumas.
Yes.
Further to that report, the Integrity Commissioners actually will be attending our next regular council meeting. So if there are any questions specific to that report, they'll certainly be available to answer those at that time. Also, I think they just wanted to do a quick refresher of a meet and greet. Apparently, I believe it's been a couple of years since council's had the opportunity to meet with them. So they'll be available if council has any specific questions they'd like to raise at that time as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Brian. The next two with the Town Suite Profile Booklet and Town Suite Solution Summary, those are the background information that you gave us in regards to the IT refurbishment of the Township of South Algonquin. So any comments or questions on those? Okay. I wonder if you could take us down visually to number 4, the Veterans Banner Program. This is a request coming through to the Township in regards to specifically putting hardware on poles that would then be able to be used throughout the year to demonstrate or to put up banners throughout the township. And there was a request specifically from a family in our community. So I don't know if you can pull that up or not.
Yes, it should be up there now. And
Okay.
I have spoken on a couple of occasions with Joanne Ronholm and also Heather Poliquin, who's the president at the Royal Canadian Legion in Barry's Bay.
So it's my impression. Go ahead, Councillor Harper.
Yes, if you travel through Barry's Bay, you'll see the banners are hanging in Barry's Bay right now under this program. It's sponsored by the Legion in Barry's Bay. What they're asking for is the municipality become involved by putting up the brackets to support these banners. And it wouldn't be until next year at this time anyways, till September next year, that would be required. So we're just going to have a look and see how many people are actually interested in it. There's a $250 price tag on getting these banners developed normally by a family or an interested party. But we have to put, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry.
Well, all we have to, our job would be to put up the brackets on the hydro poles to support the banners.
And it's my understanding then as a municipality, like these banners would be taken down after the November Remembrance Day process so that they're kept to be in good shape. And then we could use those throughout the year for other banner situations. Is that correct, Brian?
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
If you go through Lake St. Peter or Bancroft or Barry's Bay during the summertime, you'll see banners hanging on their main streets going through those towns.
Your worship,
So Brian, go ahead, Councillor Florent.
I'm in favor of this idea. It's a very good idea, but we have a huge problem in the township of South Algonquin. We don't own the poles. So we would have to get permission from Ontario Hydro or Bell Telephone, whatever the case may be, in order to go ahead with this.
That's what I was thinking as well. And I'm sure going back to Brian, it would take basically a staff report to bring this back as to the, to the cost, et cetera. And that's not going to be a deterrent, but its permission is required. And our community, I mean, our main streets are Whitney and Madawaska. So I would expect that it would be in both areas. So those are just my comments off the top of my head. But Brian, I think it requires a report back for sure.
Yeah. Certainly, Councillor Florent, you're correct. We don't own the poles. Both Bell and Hydro own poles, various depending on where they're located, etc. But certainly, any of the poles for which we have street lamps on, we have an agreement with Hydro, or I say we should have an agreement for those street lights to be in place, which would most likely, from my experience, allow us to place these banners. I did so actually in my time in Eganville. We had banners regularly placed on the poles in the village, which were done so under the guise of the permission we had for the street lights. And I do believe that currently the group has 5 of these banners that would be placed at next year into South Algonquin Township, with the possibility of further growth once people see these.
Great.
Thank you very much. Okay, if we could go back then to the items 5, 6, 7, 8 on the correspondence received for information. Brian, thank you. Just the front page would be good. Okay, if you could pull up the last, 7, 8. I had planned to make a comment on this, and I think it's fortuitous that we may still have some members of the McRae family on board. The process for the forest management planning process, both for Algonquin Park and for the Bancroft-Minden Forest, has been a long, arduous process getting into this planning process and getting the 2021 to 2031 plans completed for various reasons, COVID, many delays, etc. And then now we have the annual work schedules for 2021 to 2022 are out there, and you can get this information by going through MNRF. But I sat on the planning process for the Bancroft-Minden Forest as a member of the Local Citizens Committee. And I just want to say back to council and to any members that are perhaps watching this process, the professionalism of the individuals that carry out this planning process is very, very impressive. Working closely with, again, as I say, the planning group. The planning group consisted of the, of the leaseholder representation. Indigenous groups were at the table. The people that did the modeling, etc. This is a very impressive process, and this will be my last plan. I will not be going, I probably won't be around in 10 years to do it again, but I certainly was impressed with the professionalism, the dedication to the forest of all the people that sat around the table. And if you have the opportunity to go online and access these plans, the mapping for these plans are incredible. It's actually incredible. And working with the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forest, all the staff there as well, it was a very positive experience, and an experience that you can't help but learn something from. So I very much enjoyed that process. So I would encourage you to go online and look at these plans. If you want to see what your forest looks like, right down to almost being able to see the trees on the maps, which I'm exaggerating, but excellent work and excellent resources there. So thank you for letting me say that. I plan to say that. So thank you. So we are now at item new business. So Brian, I believe Councillor Bongo, you wanted to speak to the boat launch service improvement plan, which we do have a resolution coming up in our package in regards to that. Go ahead, Councillor Bongo.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Yes, it was at the last asset management meeting where I brought this to the table. This past summer, I had a lot of feedback from the constituency regarding very serious traffic congestion problems at the Galleri Lake boat launch. And I'm also aware that the Aylan Lake boat launch experiences similar problems. Perhaps Councillor Rodnick can speak more directly to that after I'm just done here. But essentially, the issue is that we have visitors coming to the township who are Algonquin Park campers, and they don't necessarily know the parking etiquette at the boat launch. And because of that, our own ratepayers are unable to launch their boats into the water for their day use excursion trips on the lake. And as many citizens have reported to me, they essentially fund the boat launch through their taxes, yet they are unable to use the boat launch on these high traffic weekends, such as all of the summer long weekends and non-long weekends as well in the summertime. And as the mayor correctly pointed out at the previous asset management meeting, we do almost every year, council does discuss these emerging traffic issues at the boat launches, but no concrete action has been taken yet. And that's what I would like to initiate through this resolution that I've put forward. And that is that we get really creative with how we manage the traffic so that really at the end of the day, so that everybody is able to launch their boat without having to be blocked by any vehicles whatsoever. And the other important thing that I want to mention is that it's important for us to keep these as access points with Algonquin Park. I think I know Councillor Harper at the previous meeting suggested that we end this whole access point arrangement with the park. I, however, strongly feel against that idea. I think for the economic health of the township, I think it is important that we maintain these access points that are also our boat launches. I think it's a very important thing for our community. And of course, if this resolution is accepted today, there's still a lot of discussion to be had about exactly how we're going to manage that parking. We do also have on the table the option to have a bylaw officer, so perhaps an additional bylaw officer can help with the management of the parking. And just for your information, in the feedback discussions that I've had with the residents, I've had residents even tell me that they took it upon themselves to direct traffic, to manage traffic and parking arrangements at the launches. And so seeing as how we have residents that are stepping up and doing that, that should not be their responsibility. It should really be our responsibility to step in and to take a more active role. And that's all that I'm going to say. And if there's any other councillors that wish to speak, I suppose now is a good time to do it.
I will ask councillors to speak. Thank you very much, Councillor Bongo. Any other comments?
Mayor Dumas?
Go ahead, Councillor Harper.
Yes, this problem at our boat launch ramp has only occurred in the last couple of years. Prior to that, there were long weekends, as Councillor Bongo mentioned, that were jammed down there, but not to the extent it is now. My understanding is that the park is directing people down to Galleri Lake as an access point. I've got a problem with that. Again, we don't get any money from the park to develop that as an access point for them. I don't know how our staff are going to come up with a plan to resolve this problem. It's very, very difficult. I don't know what they're going to do. It's going to be interesting to find out. And I agree with Bongo, there has to be some type of plan implemented. Now, I really don't know the solution to this. All I know is that in the last couple of years, it has been very difficult for our local residents to utilize that facility. Whereas, and they're paying for it. So this is where the problem lies in the last couple of years. So.
And I think if I may, and I'll open it to other members of council, I think that's why, you know, a staff report would be good on this, because it's not just a South Algonquin, it's Oceans and Fisheries, and it's Algonquin Park. So it's a tripartite process that has to happen. Any other comments from members of council? We will have this resolution as well if people want to speak to it at that point.
I've had the opportunity to already meet with the executive or Cottagers Association to have a discussion about this, because this is very high on their mind. And I believe Councillor Florent was out in a meeting last August. And yeah, we got to do something, because the place is just totally inundated with vehicles, and the trailers, of course, are a problem. And one thing I've sent an email to Dave to find out a couple of answers to some questions, and one of them being is whether or not we actually can get permission to maybe utilize that old dump site or not. That would help. But I mean, the discussion with the Cottagers Association was we got to more work in a partnership, so they've got to be active in this thing too, and they seemed quite agreeable to that, you know, within certain limits. But yeah, we definitely have to do some long range planning, and they'd like to see something happen, because this has been going on for a number of years actually. And
thank you.
There's more and more traffic. That's okay. Go ahead. I'm done.
No, I didn't mean to cut off. Anyone else?
Yes,
I just
Councillor Florent.
go ahead, Councillor Florent.
Council may remember that I brought the idea forward of expanding the parking lot size at the Bark Lake boat launch, trying to get ahead of the issue before it becomes the same issue that it is at Gallery Lake and at Allen Lake. So it's a problem throughout the township, not just specific to the Gallery Lake boat launch, although that one seems to be one of the more immediate ones.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And just when I got the phone call, we've all got the phone call. Every member sitting around this table has received a phone call about some boat launch site. And when I the weekend before the long weekend in July, I got a call that there was absolutely no parking. And when I reached out to Algonquin Park for the duty officer, etc., I was speaking to someone that works with the camp site thing, and she was telling me that what's happening is the number of vehicles that are coming in. And she said there was one group, she told me there was one group of 9 people that were leaving from that boat launch that day. And they were coming in 5 different vehicles. So 9 people leaving had 5 vehicles that they had to park in that small area that we have on Gallery Lake. So it is a huge issue. So I think it's going to take us through the winter to have the dialogue and with council and with various other partners. So thank you for that. All right. Then we will.
Mayor?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Richard. Shall I?
Yes.
Go ahead.
This is an issue. It's an issue, like you said, at Allen Lake. It's an issue at Gale Area. It's also an issue at Hay Lake. And when I look at this, it's the management of the interior program. There's an increased use in park use in the last couple of years, especially with COVID. People couldn't travel out of the country, so they're rushing to parks. The reservation is jammed and filled up on weekends, etc. So, and what's happening is the main routes, the Joe Lake system, the Opiongo system, the Rock Lake, etc., Cache Lake, Smoke, Canoe, they're all filled, and they fill first. And what happens is the reservation system accommodates the request, and it pushes them to the less used areas. And that's what's happening in outside the park. Is some of these areas weren't as much in demand. And now that they have forced people to these locations so they can accommodate them, then they find out that, you know what, it's not really that bad. It's a nice area. So they continue to come back. So it's all about the user wanting to go to a location, the system directing people to go to where there is an available site within the provincial park system, and we really need the business portion of it. So it's to accommodate all. So you know what, I think as we move forward and staff work on this, we all have suggestions. I certainly have some myself, and I think we can accommodate, we can work together, and we can resolve this. Thanks.
Any other comments?
Mayor, if I could just go ahead.
Just very quickly, Councillor Bongo.
Sure. Yeah, and I worded this resolution without naming any specific boat launch. I simply said the ones that have skyrocketed in popularity. So that really leaves the option for us to look at Hay Lake, to look at Aylen, and to look at Galeri, and if any of the other ones are also congested as well. Because of course, all of these boat launches are important. I don't want anybody to ever think that one is more important than the other. And I mean, realistically, this is a good problem to have. It means that our as a township, our profile is rising. People are very interested in our township. They want to spend their recreational time here, and it is good for the economic health of the township. So I think we have some very good momentum here, and I look forward to the more specific discussions in the near future at the asset management committees.
All right, thank you very much. All right, we are now down to item 14, motions of council.
Mayor
sorry.
Dumas?
Oh, yes, Councillor Harper.
Yes, under new business. I know I didn't have an opportunity to get a resolution in, but I've had some inquiries from our local residents, wondering if the municipality could expand the beach area on Galeri Lake. There's a section of brush along the shoreline there, this side of the actual beach. There's tag alders, trees and stuff like that growing along the shore. And what they're wondering is, would it be possible for the municipality to clear some of that brush out of there? Not necessarily working on the exact where the water's edge, but clear that area out and make a little, maybe a kind of a little park or something in there at this point in time for people to sit underneath those trees, put some tables along there. The reason being because the number of people using our beach has exploded. A lot of people don't go there to swim. They just go there to sit because it's such a nice view. And removing that brush along the road there and along the shoreline would accommodate, 3 or 4 or 5 tables in there. People could sit under the shade of those larger trees and have the view of the lake. I don't know if maybe Dave could give us some idea if it's possible, if it's feasible. I don't know.
Councillor Harper, I think that would be a perfect item for the asset management committee meeting. So maybe you could speak to Brian and we'll get that on the agenda for the next meeting. And good timing, good timing for next year or whatever. So thank you very much. Certainly. Any other new business? Okay, so we'll go ahead to motions of council. And all right, I have this resolution moved by Councillor Shala, seconded by Councillor Collins. Here we go. Okay. Be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin supports the recommendation of the planning report to not support the request for a zoning bylaw amendment to permit a secondary dwelling. Sorry, I'm having difficulty here reading it. Dwelling unit due to conformity problems with the official plan and the comprehensive zoning bylaw for lands locally known as 101 Galeri Lake Road, and that the council may reconsider the application should the applicant provide an environmental impact study, EIS, that demonstrates conformity with the official plan and the comprehensive zoning bylaw. Is there any discussion?
Councillor Florent.
Go ahead, Councillor Florent.
I have considerable experience on council, like roughly 17 or 18 years, and I don't recall ever seeing a motion come to council before to not do something. The motion is always to approve, and either it passes or it fails. This resolution seems to be in reverse. I have never seen one like this before.
May I speak to that?
Yes.
Certainly, Tracey, go ahead.
Okay, so per the Planning Act, we need a something for that is appealable. So the applicants can appeal this, but we need some kind of decision so that they could appeal if they felt the need, or give staff sorry, in the applicant direction to proceed to the next level. So that's why the bylaw is worded the way it is.
Okay, thank you for that feedback, Tracy. Very much appreciated.
I think the motion should be to approve the application though, not to approve the planners.
Tracy, did you wish to comment further? You're saying this is the way it should be done in conformity with the Planning Act.
We could have did the bylaw like we normally do, but however, since this was not supported by the planners as it was written, and that they had recommended the EIS study, we thought the best approach would be just to put the resolution in, not a bylaw. That way that the applicants have a way of moving forward should they wish to proceed.
They have recourse.
Right. They could move with this as saying we're not supporting the way the application is written. However, we will reconsider it if they do an EIS study.
Thank you. Any other comments from council?
I have some more.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councillor Florida. I didn't realize you weren't finished. Go ahead.
Well, my first objection was to the way that the motion is written. My second objection is to the planning report itself. And no matter how much Mr. Simmons wants to defend quoting the wrong section of the act, I still think it's obvious that he's quoting the wrong section of the act and referring to severances in numerous places in the report, instead of the actual, the correct part of the act, which is the percentage of buildings compared to lot size, etc.
Any comment back in regards to that? All right. Who is, I don't know who wished to speak next. Was it Councillor Bongo?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Just a question for Tracy. So if we vote to go along with the planner's recommendation, and then at that stage, the resident then can go ahead with the EIS. And then I guess there will be another COA meeting where we're going to revisit this. I'm just very curious as to how much potential impact the EIS will have in the appeal process.
So I just want to clarify that zoning bylaw amendments don't go in front of a committee of adjustment. They're not dealt by committee of adjustments, only by council. So if I'm not sorry, what did you say, Councilor Balco? What was your question? You put a couple in there, so.
Yeah, sorry, and pardon me for not articulating it as well. I guess to summarize my question, assuming that this is rejected, as in we go along with the planner's advice, and then the resident will do the EIS, and then will that EIS then further prove their case? I just don't want the resident. Yeah.
It depends on what the EIS comes up with.
Okay.
If it comes up that they are in conformity with the official plan and the comprehensive zoning bylaw, then that's the next stage. And then it says council may reconsider the application. So we'd have to put it back on the table again, which is fine, and council can reconsider it.
Okay.
That answer your question? It all depends on what the EIS comes up with. What it states, right? So
right. But I mean, even if the EIS says environmentally everything's fine, there's still those other issues with the lot size, correct?
Yeah, but I think though that what we could address that through the zoning bylaw amendment process, and my understanding is that Mr. Simon had said if they get the EIS study and if it comes back okay and they're conformity with their official plan and zoning bylaw, then there's no reason why it couldn't move forward.
Okay, got you. Okay. And my final question is that when we go through the vote, when we vote yes, we are denying the application, correct?
You're denying the application on the basis that it'll be reconsidered if they get an EIS study. You're denying the application as it stands currently.
Got you. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
It's Richard. I listened to it all. I want to see people reach their goals or their plans or their dreams. But if I heard it correctly, it sounded like the present structure was only a seasonal building. I drive by there quite often, and it almost appeared to me that it's been an all-season structure. So I might be wrong, but I don't know what the rest of the councillors in the local area have noticed. But that's my opinion, and I'm just thinking that if it's used now as a seasonal building, there's always seems to be buildings there. It's plowed. The driveways, I believe, have been plowed for a number of years in the winter. I think it was initially a permanent resident that owned it. But maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it doesn't matter, or maybe it's just adding more to the weeds. But I'm just thinking that if in the end we've paid a planner to develop our official plan and our the zoning bylaws, and we keep coming back to the table about amendments, and I've mentioned this before at other meetings, and why did we had public input at the time during both these stages of the official plan and the zoning bylaw, and now we're coming back to change all of this. And anyway, it's just a bit confusing, and I appreciate what the resident wants to do. I appreciate what the guidance we're getting from a planner. So anyway, I guess we have to vote on it.
I agree, Councillor Shala. I think it's the proposal is a great idea and it would benefit municipality, but we just have to ensure that it's done within our official plan and our comprehensive zoning bylaw. And in doing that, the planner feels like an EIS study may demonstrate this conformity.
Thank you. And I concur with both your comments. Any other comments from members that have not spoken? All right, hearing none. Go ahead. Who is that?
Yeah, it's Councillor Bonko.
Yes.
I'm so sorry to say one more thing. Councillor Florent earlier in the meeting did ask whether I am in conflict with this vote. Financially, I'm not connected to the resident in any kind of way. I have no connection to the ownership of this property as well. I do live 2 doors down. And I did receive a letter as per his procedure with regards to whenever anybody wants to put in an application like this. I don't believe that I am in a conflict of interest, but if there are any councillors or staff that think otherwise, please do advise me now.
It's not our job to advise you, Councillor Vongo. It's your decision. You make that statement and then you own that statement. So I'm hearing from you that you are declaring that you do not have a conflict of pecuniary interest. All right, thank you. All right.
Right.
So shall we go ahead with the vote then? Councillor Collins? Sandra?
Sorry, 4.
Okay. Councillor Florent?
I'm against.
Councillor Harper?
4.
Councillor Bongo?
4.
Councillor Shala?
4.
Councillor Rodnick?
4.
And I am 4. So the motion is carried. Thank you very much. The next resolution. Let me see here. What's this one? Okay, I have this moved by Councillor Bongo and seconded by Councillor Rodnick. Whereas the Council for the Township of South Algonquin had KPMG undertake a service delivery review, and whereas the final report was delivered to Council on May 5th, 2021, and whereas on page 64 of the report, 2 issues were identified as S1, currently the township provides bylaw enforcement services on a part-time basis, 2 days a week. This has the potential to create challenges or issues from a responsive basis. And L1, previously the township has relied on the OPP to enforce the DOLA, which may not be available going forward. And DOLA, just for your information, refers to Dog Owners Liability Act. And whereas the council deems it necessary and expedient to ensure the availability of bylaw services to the community, and therefore be it resolved that council approve an additional 20 hours for the purposes of bylaw enforcement activities, and that staff be directed to fill these hours with a capable individual. Any discussion?
Mayor?
Go ahead, Councillor Shala.
It doesn't say 20 hours a month or 20 hours a week.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. It was 20 hours a week. We'll add that in there.
Okay. Above there it does, but down and below there it should.
The last line. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Any discussion?
I have some comments.
Go ahead, Councillor Florent.
During the committee, when this item was discussed at committee level, a lot of the reasons for doing it were to enforce the trailers in our township. And of course, everybody knows that that's only on private property. Bylaw enforcement officer has absolutely no jurisdiction on Crown land. I did a little drive around and found out that there's 34 trailers within a 1 kilometer shoreline on Bark Lake on Crown land. If we have the intention of enforcing, using our bylaws and a bylaw enforcement officer to enforce trailer rules, while completely ignoring the fact that there's at least 34, that was 34 on the 1st of October. So I would imagine in July and August, there was considerably more than that. And they are exempt from our bylaws. We're going to look pretty foolish. And this is a lot of money going out for something that essentially I don't think has any teeth. I think, personally, I think it's a waste of money to have a bylaw enforcement officer in our township. There's a motion later on today to purchase a new fire chief. Well, if we eliminated this job and maybe another part-time job, we could buy a new fire truck every 3 or 4 years.
Any other comments from a member of council? Are you finished? I'm sorry, are we finished?
Yes, I am, except I want a recorded vote on this when it comes to a vote.
All right, thank you. Any other comments?
Okay,
Mayor?
go ahead. I have one.
Councillor Shallow, then Councillor Bongo.
I think it's premature. I think we should make these decisions, and I've said previously at these meetings that I feel it's quite costly to chase dogs and trailers around the township, was my comment, and I stick with that. And I think it's a little bit premature to do this until we've decided what we're going to do about the trailers, if we're going to do anything, and how we're going to do it on private property. And as far as the dog issue can be dealt if it's presently dealt with OPP, and I'm aware of some instances where it has been in the past, then we go that route. Township staff have also dealt with it, and but I just see this as I just think we're sort of putting the cart ahead of the horse here, and I would just like to delay this one. And I would agree. I'll make my decision when we vote here. I'm glad it's going to be a recorded vote. So I just think that there's some things we have to sort out before we start spending that money. And it's taxpayers' dollars. And I appreciate the motion, whoever developed it, that's fine. And then the CAO following through on KMG's suggestions, that's fine, and we followed them before, but we don't necessarily always have to follow them. So anyway, I just think it's way premature.
Mayor
Right.
Duma, can I add to just the bylaws that we do enforce or to enforce? We have a lot of issue as well in the winter time with vehicles and fishermen. I don't know if you recall parking on the township roads and the turnarounds where a bylaw enforcement officer could address these issues, as well as everybody's aware, there's a lot of camping going on the ends of our turnarounds as well, where there's trailers set up and such. So that's something else that could be addressed with a bylaw enforcement officer.
Thank you for that feedback, Tracy. Any other member of council have a comment?
I just want to note that you asked for questions from councillors, not from staff.
Well, I think staff should always be allowed to have input.
When
Thank
they're
you.
asked, yes.
Well, I would have asked the question.
I
Anyway,
have a question or a comment.
go ahead, Councillor.
To start off with 20 hours a week maybe is a little excessive. Perhaps we start off with something of less hours, maybe 6 to 8 hours a week, with that possibly being increased if we find that there is a need. Would that be a more suitable, well, less impact on the budget for sure? So what does council think about that?
I would ask Brian to comment on that because I think as I should have asked Tracy or staff for their input because they know the issues that are coming into the office in regards to this, to bylaw for non-adherence to bylaws, et cetera. So Brian, would you like to give a comment?
Certainly. Thank you, Mayor Dumas. Definitely. I mean, certainly, if council feels that a lesser number of hours are going to be relevant on a short-term basis and gauge it as we move forward, it's certainly something that can be considered. I think, as I say, staff are currently hoping to bring budgets to council in a little over 4 weeks for deliberation. And I think we're just trying to make sure that we've dotted our I's and crossed our T's. I'd hate to get into September next year and not have budgeted for adequate, or July or August, and not have budgeted for adequate resources for the purposes of bylaw enforcement. Certainly, we don't need to staff it at that level if that's what council chooses. I will defer that to council. Certainly, we've got some issues to address at boat launches on top of numerous other issues that are going to come up over the next 12 months. We were just trying to position ourselves where we had the available resources should council require us to start taking a more active approach to the enforcement of the bylaws that council has already enacted.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Mayor, if I may,
Go ahead, Councillor.
I've heard the discussion about the docks and the boat launches and enforcement. There's no possible way that the enforcement officer can be in Dale Lake, Hay Lake, and Gay Larry Lake same time on the same weekend and the same day either. So I guess all I'm thinking of is I see it as a more of an educational process. That's a signage process. Regulations that's part of signage is a big part of a regulation. We provide the proper direction. We want the people to come here. We say in our signs, welcome to Algonquin, come or South Algonquin. We want everybody to come here. We want the businesses to survive. They need the people here. I think if we delay this process, this resolution or bylaw, that we resolution here, that we move for, that we get our ducks lined up as far as all the things that we want to enforce before we actually start, as mentioned, get the horse before the cart or the cart before the horse. So anyway, I just think that it's not a case of big part of enforcement is education. So to hire I don't want to pay my tax dollars for somebody to stand down here at the public launch to direct people. That could be done with a signage. It could be done with a paper handout to everybody that gets a permit when they get it, whether it's on reservations, through reservation system or through Algonquin Park at the East Gate. I just think there's other ways of dealing with this issue that's going to be less cost effective or more cost effective and less burden on the taxpayer. But we, and I agree with the resolution that's coming forward. I have talked to staff about this, how I think we could resolve it, and I'll make my comments at the proper time. But anyway, I just think this should be delayed, and we know what we're going to do before we try to tell somebody out there where he's going to send the people. We want them to come. We can do that with a sign, which is much cheaper than someone standing there in the rain or the heat. So anyway, that's my thoughts, and I'll vote on this later.
Brian, I have a question for you. If we go ahead with this vote and it is defeated, we cannot bring this back
Right.
for a specific period of time, correct?
That is correct. We would have to use the section under motion for reconsideration in the future as it relates to this specific resolution being the 20 hours.
Okay. So, so council understands if we defeat this, then it cannot be looked at again cannot be reconsidered for that period of time. Is that correct, Brian?
Yes, that's correct, Jane.
Can we not table this motion?
That's what I'm leading up to. So how would we go about tabling this, Brian?
I just need council to move that this be sent back to committee for further consideration.
All right. So would members of council, I'm asking you at this point in time that we table this and take it back for reconsideration. And so just, I would ask you individually if that's, I'm asking you if we can table this. So Councillor Collins?
Yes, I think that would be a good idea with regards to the hours, etc. Yes.
Councillor Florent?
No.
All right. So then at this point, we have to go ahead with the vote. Is that correct, Brian?
Yes.
All right. Any other discussion?
Mayor?
Councillor Bongo?
Thank you so much. I will speak directly to the question about the bylaw officer. Before I do that, I just want to rewind a little bit back to what Councillor Florence said about the Crown land trailers. You're right. I think what we need to do as a council is to lobby the provincial government and to write them some kind of letter or use whatever lobbying channel we have available to us to make it known to the province that the Crown land in our township needs to be managed more proactively and a lot more better. That would be my response to that point. I'll just, and now I'll talk about the question about the bylaw officer here. Personally, I'm ready to hire this bylaw officer right now. We have the facts right in front of us. The KPMG report says without a bylaw officer, these bylaws are, what do they mean? Not a lot. They're practically meaningless. Councillor Schall is talking about, why don't we just leave it up to the signs? People don't obey the signs. People don't read the signs. I had residents tell me that they yelled at visitors who were not parking properly at the boat launch. Okay, it's not the job of the citizen to step in and do that sort of interpersonal management. That's our job as a township. I get complaints from residents all the time about dogs, and all that happens is we just send a letter to the offending dog owner. And does anything happen beyond that? I don't know. The residents, when I speak to them, they're furious at me and at us because we are not doing any proactive bylaw enforcement. Same thing with illegal camping. Same thing with the parking situations that we're having, people misusing and abusing our beaches. And of course, there is the question of the trailers. Even if we do not decide to regulate trailers, I'm sure that we can still fill a bylaw officer's 20 hours per week with a lot of different bylaw enforcement necessities. And the one bad thing about delaying this any further is that it won't be included in the budget for the following year. But from my understanding, we are going to vote on it today, and I'm going to be voting in support of the bylaw officer. And I look forward to that vote. Thank you.
Mayor Dumas?
Go ahead, Councillor Harper.
I'd be a lot more comfortable if I knew when those 20 extra hours a week were going to be allocated. Is it for after hours, on weekends, or what? Or just extension of his current days during the week, 9 to 5? A lot of the things that happen in this municipality happen after 6 o'clock at night or on weekends. I'd be a lot more comfortable if I knew when those hours were going to be.
Brian, would you want to comment on that availability in off hours?
Certainly, Councillor Harper. I think one of the things that we as staff have identified is that the weekends, long weekends, are times when we have a large influx of individuals utilizing the boat launches and such. And those are the times when certainly we need to have somebody available for that purpose. And certainly the weekends are when people are around, they're not at work. It's the time that the bylaw officer needs to be out there. So yes, the intent would be that those after hours and weekends would be times that we would be planning to stick these 20 hours into the operational requirements of the individual.
All right, thank you, Brian. Any other questions?
Mayor?
I have one other opposition to the wording of the motion, and it's the very last line where it says the staff will be directed to fill these hours with a capable individual. That sounds more like an anointment than a job competition.
All right, Councillor Shala.
I just can't get over us wanting to, we want people to come here, but we don't want to work on to resolve the problem of an enforcement officer. If he's just going to charge somebody, I was an enforcement officer a number of years. And you know what? For me to charge somebody with cutting live growth, if the person didn't know exactly how to cook the hot dogs for he and his girlfriend, for me to charge him without taking him back in the bush and collecting some dry wood with him and showing him what he should do without trying to embarrass him and send him home with a ticket in his pocket, then all he'd have to do if I just charged him and left is try to wait until an enforcement officer goes home to lay the charge so that he could cook the hot dogs for his sweetheart. So anyway, all I'm saying is we have to work to solve the problem. Where are we going to, in the end, we have to have that parking spot. We have to have the location where we're going to send them. So if it means delaying this process so that we don't have those embarrassing situations, even for an enforcement officer, if he doesn't know where to direct those people, what's he going to do with them? He can't just chase them out of the township. We don't want that. So my suggestion is we delay this. We work with the ministry or the Ontario Parks. We have some good discussion about it and debate. And then we have a plan of how are we going to accommodate the people that we want to come to our township to support the business in the community and to support our community. And some of these people may even come back and live here. I'm sorry, I just can't buy this enforcement over. It's not just about enforcement. It's about having anyway, sorry.
Okay, I'm going to call the vote. I think a job description, and I think in most cases, education is the first approach as to a ticket, but that's my feeling, and that can totally be our approach in a job description. So I'm going to call the vote. Carla, could you please call the recorded vote?
Yes.
And I think it was Councillor Florent that requested a recorded vote. Am I correct?
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Florent?
I'm against.
Councillor Harper?
Against.
I think we're going the wrong way. We go in the reverse direction on a recorded vote, don't we?
No. Councillor Bongo?
For.
Councillor Shala?
Against?
Councillor Rodnick?
Against as it's presented.
Mayor Dumas?
For.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Collins.
For.
So it's defeated.
No, it's not.
4
This
for
is
no
three,
and 3
four.
for yes.
Say that again, please.
4, we have Councillor Collins and Councillor Bongo and Mayor Duma. And against, we have Councillor Florent, Councillor Harper, Councillor Shala, and Councillor Rodney.
Oh, I didn't hear Councillor Harper. So you were, so Councillor Harper was against this?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. All right then. Okay, so it's defeated. Where are we? The next resolution? Let me catch up here. Okay, I have this resolution moved by Councillor Collins, seconded by Councillor Florent. Whereas staff have undertaken a comprehensive review of the capacity of our existing software, as well as 2 other applications, and whereas KPMG undertook a comprehensive service delivery review delivered to council on May 5th, 2021, and whereas this software will implement at least 25 of the recommendations from the report, and whereas implementation of this software will improve the efficiency of the township, and whereas this software will ensure the township is able to remain compliant with the provincial requirements. Now therefore be it resolved that the council of the Township of South Algonquin approves the acquisition of Town Suite software solution, and further that staff proceed with, I believe it was option 2, staff preferred, Brian, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. Proceed with option 2 as presented in the October 6th staff report to fund this project. Discussion? Okay, I call the vote. Councillor Collins?
For.
Councillor Florent?
For.
Councillor Harper?
4.
Councillor Bongo?
4.
Councillor Shala?
For.
Councillor Rodnick?
4.
It's carried. I have this resolution moved by Councillor Collins and seconded by Councillor Rodnick. Be it resolved that the policy HS 009-01 is hereby rescinded as it was replaced by bylaw 21-666, adopting the workplace and vaccination policy HS 001-03. Furthermore, that the HS 001-03 be amended to include that masking shall still be required at all times when staff are unable to social distance, including at all times while traveling in a municipal vehicle. Any discussion? Call the vote. Councillor Collins?
For.
Councillor Florent?
For.
Councillor Harper?
4.
Councillor Bongo?
4.
Councillor Shala?
For.
And Councillor Rodnick?
4.
Okay, the next resolution. All right. I have this moved by Councillor Shala and seconded by Councillor Bongo. Be it resolved that the council agrees to pay the most reasonably priced quote received for rehabilitation of the entrance of 105 Maple Drive in Whitney as presented in the October 6th staff report. Discussion? Calling the vote. Councillor Collins?
For.
Councillor Florent?
For.
Councillor Harper?
4.
Councillor Bongo?
4.
Councillor Shala?
For.
Councillor Rodnick?
4.
It's carried. Okay, I have this moved by Councillor Florence, seconded by Councillor Harper. Be it resolved that the Council for the Township of South Algonquin awards tender SA 2021-02 for the rehabilitation of the area pedestrian bridge to BEI Construction in the amount of $219,989 plus HST, utilizing option 2, reconstruct the bridge using number 1 Douglas fir and number 1/2 SPF with all features designed by the engineer as discussed in the September 1st, 2021 council meeting. Any discussion? Call the vote. Go ahead, Councillor Harper.
I'm still in the idea that the M&R should be helping us fund this project.
Thank you for that feedback, Councillor Harper. Any further discussion? Call the vote. Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
or
Councillor Harper,
For.
Councillor Bongo,
For.
Councillor Shala,
Or
Councillor Rodnick.
For.
It's carried. What's this one? All right, I have this resolution moved by Councillor Collins, seconded by Councillor Rodnick. Be resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin awards tender SA 2021-04 Medical Center Whitney Library Roofing Replacement to Poplinski Contracting Limited in the amount of $8,775 plus applicable HST. Discussion, call the vote. Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
or
Councillor Harper,
For.
Councillor Bongo,
For.
Councillor Shala,
or
Councillor Rodnick,
For.
carried. The next resolution moved by Councillor Florence, seconded by Councillor Bongo. Be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin awards tender SA 2021-05 where are we? Lester B. Smith Community Center Roofing Replacement to Bay Roofing and Exterior Limited in the amount of $21,500 plus applicable HST. Discussion. Call the vote. Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
or
Councillor Harper,
For.
Councillor Bongo,
For.
Councillor Shala,
or
Councillor Rodnick.
For.
It's carried. Okay, let me see here. Where are we? Okay. I have this resolution moved by Councillor Harper and seconded by Councillor Shala. Be it resolved that the Council for the Township of South Algonquin agrees to honor and remember our local veterans by promoting the Veteran Banner Program and will install brackets on streetlight posts and will attach banners of local veterans in 2022. Discussion? Call the votes. Councillor Collins,
Sorry, with regards to discussion, can that resolution say will attach banners of local veterans and other suitable banners? Because I think the brackets could be utilised for Christmas time, for other activities as well as veterans.
would council agree to that friendly amendment to put suitable banners in there? I think they
Sure.
have to be approved by council. Yeah, okay, fair enough. With that amendment of that one word, then I would call the vote. Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
for
Councillor Harper,
For.
Councillor Bongo,
For.
Councillor Shala,
or
and Councillor Rodnick.
For.
It's carried. We have this resolution moved by Councillor Harper and seconded by Councillor Rodnick. Whereas the Algonquin Provincial Park access points located within the township boundaries are valuable community assets that are appreciated by both residents and visitors. And whereas the community at large has expressed their disappointment in disruptive traffic bottlenecks that prevent ratepayers from being able to use these boat launch facilities. And whereas the township, as owner of these major boat launches that feed into internationally famous Algonquin Park, has a responsibility to proactively manage them to ensure that they are functional and safe. And now therefore the Council for the Corporation of Township of South Algonquin resolves as follows: that the Council for the Township of South Algonquin directs staff time to create a boat launch service improvement plan that will deliver a more harmonious user experience by spring of 2022. That staff focus the report on the major township boat launches that have skyrocketed in popularity and have attracted significant public complaint from residents. And that staff make fiscal impacts clear, including staffing costs, capital costs, etc. Any discussion?
Mayor Dumas.
Councillor Harper?
I believe the M&R should be involved in this plan. I don't see it It says our staff, but it should be a combination, our staff and the M&R.
Okay, just. Okay. Sorry, I've just lost this. Okay. Brian, could you pull that down so I could read the beginning of this? I just can't see it on my screen, sorry.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Whereas community, I'm sorry. Did we want to make, where is it, Joe? I'm sorry, I'm having
It's under
difficulty finding.
the first that in now therefore.
Okay. Oh God, sorry. That the council for the Township of South Algonquin directs staff to create a boat launch service improvement plan that will deliver, is that the one?
I think so.
Okay. A more harmonious user experience. The intent behind this, I believe, is that we will have MNRF and Oceans and Services. We can't do it just with the township. The other two partners have to be involved. Is that everyone's understanding?
My
Yeah,
opinion
good comment.
was, when I read this, that we're going to work together with the park.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've had previous discussions about it.
Yes. Yeah.
That certainly
So are
would
you
be
sat-
staff's expectation, would that we would consult and collaborate with MNRF and the park.
Okay. So are you okay with that, Councillor Florent? That is the, sorry, Harper. Okay.
That's
Any
fine.
other discussion? Okay, so I would call the vote. Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
For.
Councillor Harper,
Or
Councillor Bongo,
For.
Councillor Shala,
Or,
and Councillor Rodnick.
Definitely for.
It's carried, thank you. Next resolution, I have this moved by Councillor Collins and seconded by Councillor Bongo. Be it resolved that the Council for the Township of South Algonquin supports the resolution received from the Corporation of the Town of Plampton, Wyoming, Motion 12, passed on August 25th, 2021, which was in support of the municipality of Chatham-Kent. Chatham-Kent's resolution passed on August 9th, 2021, which calls on the federal cabinet, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, the ISED Minister, Francois Philippe Champagne, excuse my French, to overrule the CRTC's reversal concerning wholesale internet rates charged by Canada's largest carriers to smaller companies and immediately implement an evidence-based 2019 rates order. Any discussion? All
I
right.
have.
Oh,
It
Go
wa-
ahead,
it
Councillor
was-
Florent.
It was my hope that this motion would be made redundant by the last election and we would be appealing to a different prime minister.
Thank you, Councillor Florent. Any other comments? Hearing none, I would call the vote. Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
For.
Councillor Harper,
or
Councillor Bongo,
For.
Councillor Shala,
or,
Councillor Rodnick.
For.
It's carried. The next resolution, Brian, please. This resolution moved by Councillor Florence, seconded by Councillor Collins. Be it resolved that the Council for the Township of South Algonquin supports Resolution R 2021-425, passed on September 7th, 2021, received from the municipality of Trent Lakes, requesting that the provincial government recognize the value that access to quality of eye care brings to all Ontarians, and act now to protect it and further that the provincial government address the OHIP insurance eye care immediately and enter into legally binding negotiations with the Ontario optometrists to fund these services, at least to the cost of delivery prior to any job action taking place. Discussion? Hearing none. Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
For.
Councillor Harper,
or
Counselor Bongo,
For.
Counselor Shala,
Or,
Counselor Rodnick.
For.
Thank you.
Mayor
And
Dumas?
yes,
Currently, the optometrists are down in front of Queens Park this morning.
oh, is that right? That's interesting. I didn't realize that. Good
Yep.
luck to them. Good
It was
luck.
on the news.
We do have the agenda that, the resolution that was the amendment of the agenda. So this is the resolution in regarding to the fire truck. So I don't know if you have it, Brian. I have it before me. I can, oh, there it is. Okay, thank you. I have this moved by Councillor Florence, seconded by Councillor Harper. Whereas the Township of South Algonquin has a fire truck in need of replacement, and whereas council deems it expedient to tender for a new fire truck, now therefore be it resolved that staff prepare and issue a tender for a new fire truck. Further, that once the tender has closed, staff will bring forward a recommendation for the purchase and payment of the fire truck approval. Any discussion? All right, I would call the vote. Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent, Joe? Okay, thank you. Councillor Harper,
For.
Councillor Bongo,
For.
Councillor Shala,
or,
Councillor Rodnick.
For.
All right, thank you. We'll go back to the agenda. We do not have any notice of motions, and I could start now with the bylaws. I have this bylaw, the first and second reading. I have it moved by Councillor Rodnick, seconded by Councillor Shala, being a bylaw to provide the stopping up and closing part of the Shore Road allowance along Allen Lake in front of Lot 12, Concession 14, designated as Part 2 on Reference Plan 36R-14617 in the geographic township of Dickens within the township of South Algonquin in the district of Nipissing, and that it be read a first and second time and be referred to a committee of the whole council. Call the vote. Councillor Collins. Councillor Collins. Thank you.
Sorry.
That's okay. Thank you. Councillor Florent. Councillor Harper.
For.
Councillor Bongo.
For.
Councillor Shala.
or,
Councillor Rodnick.
For.
Carried. I have the third reading moved by Councillor Harper, seconded by Councillor Florent, being a bylaw to provide the stopping up and closing part of the Shore Road allowance along Allen Lake in front of Lot 12, Concession 14, designated as Part 2 on Reference Plan 36R-14617 in the geographic township of Dickens within the township of South Algonquin in the district of Nipissing. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, and that it be read a third time and passed in number 21-668, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the CEO, clerk treasurer, sealed with the seal of the corporation and be entered into the bylaw book. Calling the vote, Councillor Collins.
For.
Councillor Harper, Florent.
For.
Councillor Harper.
For.
Councillor Bongo.
For.
Councillor Shala.
or,
Councillor Rodnick.
For.
It's carried. I have the next resolution moved by Councillor Bongo, seconded by Councillor Collins. First and second reading, being a bylaw to establish a capital investment policy for the township of South Algonquin, and that it be read a first and second time and be referred to a committee of the whole of council. Calling the vote, Councillor Collins.
For.
Councillor Florent.
For.
Councillor Harper.
For.
Councillor Bongo.
For.
Councillor Shala.
or,
Councillor Rodnick.
For.
Carried. I have this moved by Councillor Shala, seconded by Councillor Florent. The third reading, being a bylaw to establish a capital reinvestment policy for the township of South Algonquin, and that it be read a third time and passed in number 21. Oh, wait, a third time, sorry. Oh, I need to go back. Third reading, being a bylaw, to establish a capital investment policy for the township of South Algonquin. Is there any discussion? All right, and that it be read a third time and passed in number 21, 669, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the CAO clerk treasurer, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be entered into the bylaw book. Calling the vote, Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
For.
Councillor Harper,
Or
Councillor Bongo,
For.
Councillor Shala,
Or,
Councillor Rodnick.
For.
It's carried. I have the next resolution moved by Councillor Rodnick, seconded by Councillor Harper. The first and second reading being a bylaw to establish a capital financing and debt management policy for the Township of South Algonquin, and that it be read a first and second time and be referred to a committee of the whole council. Call the vote. Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
For.
Councillor Harper,
or
Councillor Bongo,
For.
Councillor Shala,
or,
Councillor Rodnick.
For.
It's carried. The third reading moved by Councillor Collins, seconded by Councillor Bongo, being a bylaw to establish to establish capital financing and data management policy for the Township of South Algonquin. Discussion? None. And that it be read a third time and passed on number 21-670, and that said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the CAO clerk treasurer, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be entered into the bylaw book. Calling the vote, Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
For.
Councillor Harper,
or
Councillor Bongo,
For.
Councillor Shala,
or,
Councillor Rodnick.
For.
Okay. Okay, I have this resolution moved by Councillor Shala, seconded by Councillor Florent. Being a first and second reading, being a bylaw to provide rules governing the calling, placing, and proceeding of meetings of the corporation of the Township of South Algonquin's Committee of Adjustment, and that it be read a first and second time and be referred to the Committee of the Whole of Council. Calling the vote, Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
For.
Councillor Harper,
or
Councillor Bongo,
For.
Councillor Shala,
or,
Councillor Rodnick.
For.
Carried. Third reading moved by Councillor Bongo, seconded by Councillor Rodnick, being a bylaw to provide rules governing the calling, place, and proceedings of meetings of the corporation of the Township of South Algonquin's Committee of Adjustment. Any discussion? Hearing none, and that it be read a third time and passed on number 21-671, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and CAO clerk treasurer, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be entered into the bylaw book. Calling the vote, Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
For.
Councillor Harper,
or
Councillor Bongo,
For.
Councillor Shala,
or,
and Councillor Rodnick,
For.
and it's carried. What's this one? Okay, I have this resolution moved by Councillor Collins, seconded by Councillor Harper, the first and second reading, being a bylaw to confirm proceedings of council, and that it be read a first and second time and be referred to the Committee of the Whole of Council. I'll call the vote. Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
For.
Councillor Harper,
or
Councillor Bongo,
For.
Councillor Shala,
or,
Councillor Rodnick.
For.
It's carried. Third reading moved by Councillor Florent, seconded by Councillor Rodnick, being a bylaw, confirm proceedings of council. Discussion. And that it be read a third time and passed on number 21-672, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the CEO clerk treasurer, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be entered into the bylaw book. Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
For.
Councillor Harper,
or
Councillor Bongo,
For.
Councillor Shala,
or,
Councillor Rodnick.
For.
It's carried. Have this resolution moved by Councillor Collins and seconded by Councillor Bongo. Be it resolved that,
Excuse me, Mayor,
yes?
could I ask for a short recess before we go into a closed session?
Okay, is that okay, Brian, to do it before we go into close? think so.
If council so desires, yes.
Okay, so we could turn off YouTube because we're going into closed session and we would take a 5-minute, 10-minute break. We would reconvene at 11:35.
Yep.
Thank you.
Hey,
That's
I'm
fine.
going to sign off. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Tracy.